Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi died at age 63 in a helicopter crash in northwestern Iran. His death comes as the Middle East is in turmoil, with Iran supporting attacks through regional proxies against Israel. Here's what Raisi's death could mean for Iran and the country's stance on issues across the wider region. Raisi, a conservative cleric, became Iran's 8th president in 2021.
This rise of power cemented the consolidation of power in Iran in the hands of hardliners, conservatives, and where previous presidents often had their own sort of political agendas. Raisi was largely seen as a proxy for Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei.
There had been speculation that he could have succeeded the Supreme Leader. Raisi was a controversial figure, even before his presidency. He was known among Iranians for his role in what's known as the Death Commission in 1988, where he sentenced thousands of political dissidents to death.
After he became president, he oversaw a right-wing, more hardline turn inside Iran, where civic rights were crushed, where freedom of expression was squeezed, and where Iran also turned away from diplomacy with the West and became a lot more confrontational against Israel and the US, but also European countries, and turned more towards Russia and China.
Iran's economy suffered a lot under Raisi's tenure, partly due to international sanctions.
Over the past 3 years, many Iranians have suffered unprecedented levels of destitution, of poverty, unemployment, and Raisi's government did not manage to turn things around for ordinary Iranians. And I think that is one of his main legacies that he'll be remembered for.
One of the major consequences of Raisi's death is that it raises the question, who will be the Supreme Leader's successor?
He was very close to Khamenei, and many people saw him as being groomed as a possible successor to Khamenei. Whether or not that was the case, the fact that Iran now faces a period of significant political turmoil is going to create a challenge for Khamenei, who's 85.
In terms of Iran's policies on the global stage, including the war in Gaza, few analysts expect dramatic changes.
I don't think that the death of Raisi is going to change Iran's foreign policy in any meaningful way, whether that's with regard to negotiations with the West or its military operations in the Middle East and its support for various armed groups like Hamas in Gaza and Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and so forth. That's mostly because the Iranian president is not the most influential person when it comes to Iran's foreign policy. The supreme leader, but also the military, including the Revolutionary Guard, are the ones who set Iran's priorities, especially when it comes to the military activities in the Middle East.
Presidential elections will be held within 50 days under Iran's constitution. It is expected that the vacancy would be filled in the interim by Iran's Vice President Mohammad Mokber.
I think it will now be very important to the Iranian leadership to show that its policies continue, but also that it is still a resilient, strong force inside the country. But of course, like with any other country, the death of a president in an accident like this is a huge blow to the sitting leadership, and it's going to take some time for them to recover.